Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello and welcome to NPTEL's course on communication skills. We have a very interesting module at hand now. This time it's module number 3 on entirely on non-verbal communication. This is module number 3, lecture number 1, and in this lecture, instead of beginning the lecture with the usual introductory conventional way of teaching, this is going to be different. It is going to begin with a quiz or quizzes. Now, you must be wondering how you will be able to answer the quizzes even without even knowing something about the subject, even without knowing something about non-verbal communication. How would you answer the questions? Now, this is a kind of preview quiz, in the sense you will have a rough idea of what is going to come, and at the same time when I am conducting this quiz, I have two main objectives. Mostly I am going to fulfill the objectives in the form of asking true or false questions, and the objective will cover the aspect of checking whether you know, the objective will just check your knowledge about body language, because most of you have some idea, some understanding about body language and non-verbal communication in general. Now, I would like to know, before giving you some information, imparting some knowledge on this subject, I would like to preview your idea about this. So, instead of just bombarding you just with facts and information, it is better to make you think about this, those negative information that you have got already. So, my second objective is again to clear certain misconceptions you have about non-verbal communication in general. So, on the one hand, I want you to be receptive about the lectures that I am going to give after the quizzes. I am planning to have 2 preview quizzes. This is the first preview quiz, and the second objective is just to eliminate all kind of misconceptions that you must be nurturing in your mind so far about non-verbal communication. In the previous lectures and on the previous modules, so far I discussed about communication in general and mostly focused on verbal communication. Now, here we are just going to shift our focus on non-verbal communication. Get ready. What you can do is, you can just take a piece of paper or a notebook if you want to note down some of the questions, and you will just give a simple response. You do not have to write any long answers, you do not have to give me any explanations. There are going to be 15 questions. I just want your honest, natural response to these 15 questions, and you will just say true or false. In fact, if you do not even want to write true or false, you would simply write T for true and F for false. There are 15 questions, they are numerically arranged. So, you will write 1, and when I show it, I will give you a few seconds of time to think about it, and then look at the question and then you say true or false. Do not think about explanations. My future lectures are all going to give you all the needed explanations. So, do not bother about explanations at this time. Just look at the questions and be natural, be spontaneous. Do not think of giving me the correct answer. Think of what you know about it. Okay. As I said, I want to eliminate any misconceptions by asking you these questions. So, are you ready? Shall we begin? I just want you to keep a paper, pencil or pen, and just 1 to 50 numbers written there, and then you will just say true or false. At the end of it, I will tell you how to mark your score, and I will also try to tell you something about your score and where you stand in terms of non-verbal communication. Fine. So, let us start with the first question. As I said, the questions are basically true or false types. So, we will start with the first one. You just have to say true or false. Look at the question. Women have natural sensitivity towards body language than men. I repeat, women have natural sensitivity towards body language than men. I will not explain so much about the question, but briefly telling what it means. It means that women may take more clues, women may have better understanding of the clues they take from non-verbal communication. That is what the question is trying to imply. You just have to say true or false. You can also write T or F. Look at the question, write the answer. I hope you have done it. I am just going to the second one. Look at the second one. A dishonest person avoids eye contact. A dishonest person avoids eye contact. Now, a brief explanation, it simply means somebody who wants to cheat somebody else would not look into the eyes of the other person, or he will try to avoid contacting the other person's eyes at all. As I said before, just say true or false, T or F. Take a quick look and then write your answer. Let me go to the next one. Look at the third question. The more space a person occupies, the more power he enjoys. The more space a person occupies, the more power he enjoys. This question is asking your knowledge about space, and it is asking about its equation with power. It is asking whether you think that if a person is occupying more space, is the person is thinking that is more powerful, or is he indicating that power through space? This is the question. Now, look at it, say true or false. I hope you have done it. I am going to the next one, fourth one. As I said, just give your spontaneous response, do not think too much about giving the right answer. Fourth one, I have just put some pictures also to give you some idea about what the question is dealing with. Look at the question. Sitting lower than the other person with whom you are interacting indicates dominance or authority. Let me repeat. Question number 4. Sitting lower than the other person with whom you are interacting indicates dominance or authority. Now, what does it mean? Just a brief explanation. Suppose in an interactive situation, you are talking to somebody, you are communicating with somebody, and let us say that you are sitting lower and the other person is sitting at a higher position. The fact that you are sitting at a lower position is indicating that you are dominating or you are showing authority. So, that is the question. Just say true or false, T for true, F for false. Have a quick look and say this. I hope you have done it. Let me go to the next one. The fifth question. One shows traits of aggressiveness while sitting with his legs on a desk with his hands clasped behind his head, especially before someone. I repeat, question number 5. One shows traits of aggressiveness while sitting with his legs on a desk with his hands clasped behind his head, especially before someone. If you look at the picture, it is very clear. This guy is sitting with his legs above the table or the desk, hands clasped on the back, and somebody is sitting before him. Now, when you do this or when somebody is doing this, the question says that it is trying to demonstrate aggressiveness. Some synonyms with aggressiveness, that you are slightly or rudely dominating. So, think about it, say true or false, or just write T or F. Let me go to the next question. Question number 6. Crossing the hands, legs or the ankles is a defensive gesture. So, it can be, if you look at the picture, it can be crossing the hands or the legs or the ankles. The question says is indicating that the person is quite defensive, which means the person is also closed off, the person is not opening, the person is being bit cautious. So, this is the question. Now, just you have to say true or false. If you think that this is right, say true. If you think it is wrong, say false. Take a quick look and respond. Now, let me go to the next one. Question number 7. Steepling with the fingers and hands show confidence. Now, what is steepling first of all? So, steepling could mean, so you put both your hands together and then keep that in a raised position. Okay. So, or sometimes even it is something like a towering position, it is indicating a towering position and then it is like this. Now, in the picture also you see a person, he has actually clasped his hand, not exactly steepling like the way I indicated. Steepling with the fingers and hands, when you steeple it, the question says that it is indicating confidence. Now, you have to say whether it is true or false. If it is true, say true. If it is false, false. You can now also write F. Have a quick look and then say this. Question number 8. Smoking a cigarette. Smoking a cigarette, especially before an interview or such activity, is considered a sign of anxiety or nervousness. Although I put the picture, but you can understand smoking in any manner, especially before an interview or any such stressful situation, a person is smoking. The question is saying that that activity of smoking at that point of time is indicating anxiety or nervousness. So, just say true or false. Shall I move on to the next question? Yes. Okay. Question number 9. Resting your head in the palm of your hand indicates interest in the subject. Now, resting your head in the palm of your hand, it can be this way, it can be this way, it can be this way, but generally when you are resting your head in the palm of your hand, the question says that sign, that non-verbal communication act is indicating interest in the subject. Say true or false. Again, as I said, go for your spontaneous response, do not think for any logical answer. Some of the non-verbal communication rather defies logic, so do not think too much, just give the most spontaneous response. If it is true, say true, or false, say false. I hope you have done it. Let me go to the next question. Question number 10. Showing your thumbs up indicates a successfully completed job or victory. Question number 10. Showing your thumbs up indicates a successfully completed job or victory. Say true or false. And question number 11 is about babies. It simply says babies are more sensitive to body language than adults. It is a comparison between babies and adults. It says that babies are more sensitive to body language than adults. Doesn't need any explanation, just you say true or false. Question number 12. Nonverbal communication is less intense and impactful than verbal communication. It is now comparing with verbal communication, keeping nonverbal communication and verbal communication juxtaposed. And the question is, nonverbal communication is less intense and impactful than verbal communication, meaning it is less powerful, it is less influential, it is not having greater impact in comparison to this, that is verbal communication. Think about it, say true or false. Ready for the next one? Question number 13, again about verbal communication. The question is rather a statement. It says, when we stop talking to somebody verbally, we stop the entire communication itself. I repeat, question number 13. When we stop talking to somebody verbally, we stop the entire communication itself. Implication, elaboration of the question. It simply says that we use words for communication. So, when we stop using words for communication, that is verbal communication, the question is saying that we stop entire communication itself, which means there is no communication at all once you stop using words for communication, which means once you keep quiet, you are not communicating. Now, say yes or no in the form of true or false, T or F. Look at the picture even if you wish quickly, and then you can respond to that. Done. Shall I go to the next one? The next one, 14th one, is about involuntary body language. The question is, involuntary body language reveals a person's inner thinking or feelings. Involuntary body language reveals a person's inner thinking or feelings. Now, you must be wondering, what is this involuntary body language? So, you should know what is voluntary body language. So, voluntary body language are the ones like you do it deliberately, something like you say namaste, or you shake hands, or you think, like if you are going to give an advertisement for a toothpaste, you think that you should smile and you open up your lips deliberately. So, you do certain things deliberately and you are aware of it, it is voluntary. The involuntary ones are the ones you do not do it deliberately, you do not do it consciously. So, I will explain the examples later, because if I explain it, you will also come to know the answer. So, I do not want to give away the answer at this stage. So, I made a distinction. The involuntary ones, or rather the ones you do not do it deliberately, but the question says that it is this that is revealing the person's inner thinking or feelings. So, say true if you think say false if you do not think so. Done. Shall I go to the next one and the last one in this round of questions in the preview quiz? The last one is about time perception. Question number 15. It simply says people maintain their appointments and meet deadlines according to their perceptions of time. So, I repeat, people maintain their appointments and meet deadlines according to their perceptions of time. This means people might have different perceptions of time and they follow up their commitments, meet the person, finish off their deadline according to the way they are thinking about time. Do you think it is true? Say true. If you think no, it is not like that, say false, and have a quick look and then say true or false. With this, you are answering the last question of this preview quiz on this module on non-verbal communication, and it is just a lecture, but I just wanted to start the lecture in a kind of preview quiz mode. So, have you done? Take one more quick second to recheck your answers in case you had written some keywords, because I am just going to discuss with you the answers also, and then I will also try to give a kind of rating to your answers. I hope you are ready. So, let us look at the answers. Shall we one by one? Now, the first one, women have natural sensitivity towards body language than men. Answer is true. Now, give 1 mark if your answer is true, and at the end of it I am going to calculate all the marks and check your score with the rating that I am going to give you. So, give 1 if it is T or true, and I will explain more about this, but right now at this stage I can tell you, yes, of course, women have a instinctually, spontaneously tuned habit of getting cues from non-verbal communication of the people with whom they are interacting with, of the persons whom they are observing. So, they intuitively sometimes know much faster than men as whether somebody is good or bad, whether they can trust somebody or not. Okay. But mostly this is based on the non-verbal cues they are getting from the other person. So, they are more perceptive, and they also use different kind of signals than men. So, this is true. Second one, a dishonest person avoids eye contact. Of course, true. Give 1 more point if you have written that it is true, and 0 if it is false. So, 1 or 0, 1 for true, 0 for false. Eye contact, as you know, as I have been telling in the other lectures also, is a very integral part in terms of personal as well as professional communication. If somebody is trying to avoid eye contact, it actually means the person is not very sincere, honest in the communication that he is building up. Mostly a cheater tries to avoid it. Even if you see small kids, and when they are telling a lie, they look at the floor or they look up, they will try to avoid the parents or the adults' eyes. So, you can just make a quick judgment by looking at the eye contact. Of course, there are exceptions. I am going to talk about the exceptions in the lectures. The third one about space. The more space a person occupies, the more power he enjoys. Yeah, this is also true. Give 1 if it is true, and then 0 if it is false. A very quick review of this situation. Think of transport, think of buildings, and think of space. If you look at the modes of transport, if you look at trains for instance, first AC has more space than second AC and third AC, and then the sleeper and general and reservation. So, the more power you have and the more money that you can afford to express that power, you get more space. And if you go to an office environment, the boss occupies the maximum office space, and then the next subordinate lesser space, and then the lowest ones sit in small cubicles. Okay. So, space is also indicating power equation. So, this is true. Give 1 full credit if it is true. Sitting lower than the other person with whom you are interacting indicates dominance or authority. Now, even if you look at the picture that I have given, you will understand that it is false. Now, look at her, she is down, no way she is indicating authority, and there are other pictures which I will show you later, which will indicate submissiveness rather than authority. But somebody who is sitting on the table can indicate authority, especially if you are sitting down. So, the higher the person is locating himself or herself, and the lower somebody is delegated a position, it is indicating that the one on the higher is obviously the higher authority, and the one on the lower is the lower subordinate. So, this again is indicating non-verbally the position, the authority, the dominance that a person has. Look at the next one. One shows traits of aggressiveness while sitting with his legs on a desk with his hands clasped behind his head, especially before someone. Again, the answer is obviously true. The person is aggressive, especially, even actually there are some exceptions, as I said I will be talking about that, but rightly to tell you an exception is that only time when the person is sitting alone and relaxing and reading something, or has some kind of back pain and he wants to relax it that way, fine. But rest of the times, if somebody is sitting and the person has put his foot just in front of the person above the table, it is indicating that he is aggressive, he is rude, he is impolite and so on. Sometimes the boss may do this deliberately to show that he is much more dominant and aggressive than the other person. He can use this as an aggressive technique to even make the other person obey some of his orders. Look at sixth one. Crossing the hands, legs or the ankles is a defensive gesture, and the answer is true, because any kind of crossed ones, whether it is clasping your fingers or crossing your hands or crossing it either way or hiding the hands behind. So, anything against open palms will indicate that actually you are trying to have a defensive kind of gesture, you are rather closed and you are not open in terms of body language. Steepling with the fingers and hands show confidence, of course true, because even from the picture we can see the person is exuding lot of confidence. As against steepling, the person who lacks in confidence will try to clasp the finger, pinch the hand, do something that will indicate nervousness, play with something. So, when the person is just showing that the hands are just free, held tight and in control, is actually exuding confidence. Eighth one, smoking a cigarette. Now, some people think that it is just showing an attitude, but especially before an interview or such an activity is considered a sign of anxiety or nervousness. Again, of course, it is true, and if you have written true, give 1 full credit and false 0. Reason being, although young students and people may think that just smoking indicates a kind of fashion statement and confidence, especially situations which are going to give pressure to people, and if somebody is smoking before that, it is clearly indicating that the person is nervous or the person is very anxious, the person is afraid of confronting the situation. So, it is indicating that. So, if it is true, give 1 mark. And ninth one, resting your head in the palm of your hand indicates interest in the subject. Now, obviously no, all of you know that when you are bored, you naturally try to put the head on your palm, and rather when you are feeling sleepy, you do that. In fact, you are mirroring a gesture like you are going to sleep. The lecture or the talk or whatever you are watching is so boring for you. So, it indicates boredom, not interest in the subject. So, it is false. Now, if you have written false, you give 1, and if you have written true, you give 0 to this answer. 10th one, showing your thumbs up indicates a successfully completed job or interview. So, you know this is true, of course, because we generally when we accomplish something, so we show the thumbs up, or when somebody has emerged as a victor, so the person shows it to indicate you have emerged victoriously, or even to indicate that the mission is accomplished satisfactorily, successfully. So, this is a universal kind of gesture where it is indicating success. And about the babies, question number 11, babies are more sensitive to body language than adults. Again, obviously the answer is true. Give 1 mark if you have given true as the answer. The reason being, babies actually start communicating through non-verbal communication first, even before communicating verbally, by their cries, by their tears, by their smile, and more than that by touch. It's by touch they know that somebody is mother, somebody is father, somebody is a friendly person, somebody is an enemy, somebody is a person with whom they cannot rest for a second. All is felt by touch. Even before the baby starts speaking the first word, the mother, the father, or anybody who is closely associated with the baby knows what the baby is trying to communicate, and they also communicate using non-verbal behavior. So, babies are more sensitive to body language than adults. I give you more example when we go to the lectures. And then the 12th one, non-verbal communication is less intense and impactful than verbal communication. Definitely no, answer is false. So, if it is false, here you give 1 mark. The reason being, non-verbal communication, something like a smile, a satisfactory smile tells so much than somebody saying I am happy, I am delighted, I am feeling wonderful, I am feeling great. But the expression on the face and the expression on the face of the other person to indicate worry or annoyed or I am troubled, rather than saying that in words. So, non-verbal clues, gestures communicate, indicate more than words, and it will have a deeper impact than words. So, in terms of intensity, impact, non-verbal communication has higher quotient than verbal. So, keep that in mind. So, give 1 for false. Then again, in terms of verbal communication, this is an interesting observation which is put in the form of question. When we stop talking to somebody verbally, we stop the entire communication itself. Again a definite no, the answer is false. Reason being, generally we think that when we stop talking to somebody using words, we think that we have stopped communicating. No, we actually start communicating with the person non-verbally. If 2 students are staying in the same room, the other person will just bang the door or switch off the light or keep the tape recorder songs in high volume when the other person is studying. So, so many ways in which one's enmity, one's disinterest in the other person is indicated other than just through words, and rather sometimes people communicate more powerfully using non-verbal communication, although they have stopped talking verbally. This means the statement is false and we do not stop the communication activity entirely at all, even if you stop talking. So, give credit for false to this question. And about the involuntary body language, question number 14, which said that involuntary body language reveals a person's inner thinking or feelings. Now, this is absolutely true. The voluntary ones, although is trying to communicate what the person is intending to communicate, but the involuntary ones, such as while talking, suppose you are clasping your hand, you are showing that either you are suppressing something or you are angry, you want to fight with the other person, you are indicating so many things. Or while the child is talking to the adult, is keeping on putting the hand and then closing the eyes. This again is indicating that the child is actually trying to hide something. When the person is putting the finger just above the mouth, either the person is trying to suppress telling the truth or is slightly skeptical about what the other person is telling to this person as something that is factual. When the person is slouching, again the person means so many things, and so on. So, the answer is true, give 1 for true. And in terms of time perception, people maintain their appointments and meet deadlines according to their perceptions of time. Now, this again the answer is true, because in the lecture I am going to talk about monochromatic and polychromatic aspects of time, and in which I will be telling you what is monochromatic and what is polychromatic, and then I will tell you that accordingly, if somebody is polychromatic, the person does not bother about following the deadline in the stipulated time, not concerned about meeting the person in time, and vice versa. So, you can give 1 mark if it is true, and then now quickly add the total and let us look at your score. Suppose you have got 15 out of 15 or 14 out of 15 or 13 out of 15, it is an outside score. You do not have to even listen to the lectures on the one hand, but on the other hand you will still listen just to ensure whether your perception about body language and the one that I am going to tell will match throughout, or if I make some mistake you may even send the feedback and ask me to correct it, fine. But if it is 10 to 12, it is still very good, still you have good perception in terms of body language and you may be using it also. 7 to 9 is good, but you need some more information for improving those skills. 4 to 6 is just average, you need a lot to know about non-verbal communication. 2 to 4 is below average, almost you lack good knowledge about non-verbal communication, and 0 to 2 is poor, which means no knowledge, no sound knowledge about non-verbal communication. Now, in all the cases the lectures that we are going to have will still tell you much about it, and I will take you for another quick preview about some more misconceptions and some more concepts about non-verbal communication. We will do that in a couple of minutes. Get ready for that, think about what kind of questions I am going to ask you, and till then I am going to say bye, and then I will start with the quiz very soon. Bye for now. Thank you. Welcome back to NPTEL's course on communication skills. As you would remember and recollect, we are on module number 3, lecture number 1, and instead of using the conventional teaching method, I just thought that for this one, particularly on non-verbal communication, I thought that I will start with a preview quiz, and already you attempted one preview quiz. Now, in this short remaining part of the lecture, I would like to conduct another preview quiz. So, preview quiz number 2. This again is going to test 10 questions in relevance to your awareness about body language, non-verbal communication in general. Now, I will just go a little bit faster than before. I will not give you much time, so be alert. As I said before, take a piece of paper or your notebook, keep a pen or pencil at hand, and you are going to answer the questions just by saying true or false. Now, I also told you my main objective in conducting this preview quiz is to check your knowledge about body language. Now, before I start saying something about body language, I just want to check and reassess your knowledge about body language. Now, once I do that, I also have another objective in this, just to clear some of the misconceptions you must be having about body language and or non-verbal communication in general. Now, this is my main objective. With this, I started the first one. Now, I will continue with the second quiz. You just have to say true or false. If you are lazy, simply say T or F, that is also enough. Now, let us move on to the questions. I hope you are ready with a piece of paper, pen or pencil. For each correct answer 1 mark, each wrong answer 0. At the end of it, I am going to discuss the rating with you. Now, let us look at the first one, true or false. Silence can be used as a powerful means of dominance. So, silence, this means absolutely not talking at all. Silence can be used as a powerful means of dominance. So, dominance in terms of relationship, trying to show power over the other, trying to dominate. Now, the question is asking whether can you use silence as a very powerful means to do that. Say yes if you think it is true, or no if you think it is false. So, either T or F. Just do it very quickly. Let me go to the second question. I hope you have done this. The second one simply says non-verbal communication can contradict verbal meaning. Non-verbal communication can contradict verbal meaning. A very brief explanation. I try to make a difference between verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Verbal communication in which we use words, non-verbal we use images, gestures and symbols. So, that much is understood by you. Now, the point here is non-verbal communication can contradict verbal meaning. So, your verbal intention and you mean something. Now, the question says body language can contradict, try to convey something opposite. Is it possible? If you think it is possible and it is true, say true. If you think no, it is not possible, then you say false. So, true or false, say T or F, and if you are done, we will move on to the third question. Now, the third question, it again talks about non-verbal communication. It makes a statement, non-verbal communication can be used as a substitute for verbal communication. So, the question is, can we use non-verbal communication as a substitute for verbal communication? It is implying by the statement that we can use it. Now, if you think it is true, say T or true, false, say F or false. Non-verbal communication can be used as a substitute for verbal communication. Shall I move on to the next one, the fourth question? Now, the fourth one, again it simply says some non-verbal signs are universal and commonly acceptable. Some non-verbal signs are universal and commonly acceptable. Now, just a brief explanation, non-verbal signs which are expressed in the form of images, gestures, body language, this says are universal, which means there is no difference in terms of these gestures between various countries, and then there are some of them which are commonly acceptable, which is used to express certain things by people all over the world. So, that is the question about. Some non-verbal signs are universal and commonly acceptable. If you think it is true, say true. If it is false, say false, and we will move on to the next one. Fifth one is particularly on gestures. Gestures which indicate similar verbal meaning can differ non-verbally according to their cultural backgrounds. Let me repeat, because it is suggesting 2-3 things at the same time. Listen carefully. Gestures which indicate similar verbal meaning can differ non-verbally according to their cultural backgrounds. One thing it says that gestures are related to cultural backgrounds, and although it indicates a verbal meaning, but the gesture differs, although it will convey the same meaning in different cultures. That is the question. I hope you have understood it. If you think it is true, say true. If you think it is false, say false. I hope you have done it. I will go to the next one now. Question number 6. The face is the most powerful channel of non-verbal communication. The face is the most powerful channel. Channel here is referring simply to a medium of expressing your thoughts, emotions, ideas, is the most powerful channel of non-verbal communication. Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you agree, say true. If you disagree, say false. Done it? Let me go to the next one, 7th one. We move away from persons we dislike. We move away from persons we dislike. So, people whom we do not like, people whom we hate, people whom we treat as rivals, people whom we treat as enemies. In terms of non-verbal communication, it simply says that we move away from them. That means we do not go close, we do not reduce the distance, we rather try to create the distance, especially in terms of people whom we dislike. If you agree, and if you think the statement is true, say true. If you disagree and you think it is wrong, say false, either T or F. If you are done, we will go to the next one. The next one, 8th one, and just 2 more questions. The 8th one is talking about the negative and positive ones of the non-verbal communication. It states negative non-verbal signals are more noticeable than the positive ones. So, we use various signs, signals, gestures to express our thoughts, innermost feelings. So, this is simply saying, once you have accepted that, the negative non-verbal communication are more noticeable than the positive ones. Okay, from the audience side, they can very easily see the negative ones than the positive ones. This is the statement about. If you agree, say yes. If you disagree, say no by answering false. If you say yes, it means true. So, true or false, make your choice, and I will move on to the next one. Question number 9. Awareness of your body language can help you control it. Awareness of your body language can help you control it. This simply means, if you know about your body language, about the signs that you are using to express some of your thoughts, it says you can also control it. Think whether it is true or false and then respond to it. For true, say true or T, and false, say false or F. And the last one, the 10th question, this simply says it is difficult to fake body language for a long period of time. So, look at the words which are used very carefully. It is difficult to fake body language for a long period of time. This means 2 things. One, it is suggesting, okay, it may be easy to fake, that is to pretend or to show something which you are not for short period of time, but not for long period of time. And it says that it is difficult to fake body language for a long period of time. So, again, if you think it is true, say true or simply write T. If you think it is false, say false or just write F. And have a quick look at this. This is the last answer. So, you have answered 10 questions now, and I am going to review the answers. At the end of it, I am going to say a few words about the rating. Shall we go to the answers? Are you ready? Now, this is a self-evaluation process. Just get ready. You know where you stand in terms of your quotient as far as non-verbal communication is concerned. Now, let us look at the answers. Question number 1. Silence can be used as a powerful means of dominance. Yes, of course, it is true. Observe the situation between school-going kids. The one kid is hurt. Immediately the kid says, I won't talk to you, and the kid remains silent until the other one apologizes and submits, I am sorry, really sorry. Dominance. Between husband and wife, the person who thinks that the other person should submit maintains silence till the other person does it. Even boss can do this. So, silence can be used as against talking, suddenly stopping talking. So, one can use that as a powerful means of dominance. So, generally you will think that, oh, silence, we do not do anything, but actually you can use that as a powerful means of dominance. We will talk more about when we get into the actual lectures. Now, the next one, non-verbal communication can contradict verbal meaning. Yes, of course, it is true. Give one full credit for each true answers. The previous one, again, if you have said true, you are getting 1. This one, if you say true, you are getting 1. What does it mean? Non-verbal communication can contradict verbal meaning. Now, let us say the verbal meaning, the person says that somebody has a misfortune, but who is an enemy of this person. So, he just goes and then pats him and says, I am really sorry that you lost so much money, it was so unfortunate. Now, inside let us say he is very happy that this person has lost the money. Now, it will be not possible for him to hide it exactly. The smile will exude from the eyes, a sense of satisfaction will be on the face. He will not be genuinely expressing that he is genuinely unhappy for the person who has lost this, if he is genuinely happy inside. That is why non-verbal communication can contradict verbal meaning. You say something, but if you really mean something else, and if the other person is sensitive to your non-verbal behavior, the other person will know that you are not happy about the situation or you are very happy about the situation, both will be known. So, this is also true. Let us look at the third statement. Non-verbal communication can be used as a substitute for verbal communication. Of course, yes, this is also true. Now, look at some of the pictures. Suppose you want to stop something. So, you immediately, you do not have to say from a distance, you see, just indicate that you are stopping it. You want to say when all the children are making noise or it is a hospital, just do it. So, you are indicating keep quiet, you do not have to say that. So, these gestures can be used as a substitute. Let us look at the next one. Some non-verbal signs are universal and commonly acceptable, again true, give 1 mark to true answer, because certain things like happiness, like sorrow, like discomfort, these are things which are commonly acceptable and universally expressed in the same manner. Somebody who is happy, laughs or smiles, shows cheerfulness, enthusiasm on the eyes, and there is no way you can do it, fine. Now, the fifth one, gestures which indicate similar verbal meaning can differ non-verbally according to their cultural backgrounds. Again the answer is true, give 1 full credit for true, because gestures are again culturally linked. So, even if it is showing respect, in one culture it may be bowing so deep, in another culture it may be off bow, in yet another culture it may be just shaking hands, in another culture it may be just patting, in another culture it may be touching the feet, in another culture it may be a very tight hug, and so on. So, the same meaning of respect can be expressed by different gestures according to the cultural variation. So, keep that in mind also. Look at the sixth one. The face is the most powerful channel of non-verbal communication. Very obviously, yes. Why? We will discuss more on this, but right now we understand face has eyes. So, eyes, maintaining eye contact, not maintaining eye contact gives you the maximum clue as whether you are interested in the subject or not. Then the mouth itself indicating whether you are speaking, not speaking, smiling, not smiling, and the whole facial expressions, wrinkles, no wrinkles, cheerfulness, etc., etc. So, the face is the best channel for expressing most of the feelings, and that is why it is the most powerful one also. The seventh one, we move away from persons we dislike. Let us look at the implication that is given here, which will actually make the answer true. The implication is that yes, of course, we move close to the persons whom we like. So, if it is a close friend, we feel like putting the hand on the shoulder, we hold hand, we touch, and by touching we reduce lot of space. If you do not like this person, then we maintain distance, or we move away from the person, we feel threatened. So, we do not want to reduce that space. So, the answer is true, give 1 mark to true. Eighth one, negative nonverbal signals are more noticeable than the positive ones. True, 1 full mark to this. So, things like you are sorrowful, sad, it's not that easily controllable. You are angry, especially, you cannot control that easily. You are depressed, you cannot control that easily. Whereas, you are very happy, but still you can try to maintain a balance. Okay. You feel good about something, but you do not want to reveal it, you can still try to conceal it, but the negative ones will show very quickly than the positive ones. And the ninth one, awareness of your body language can help you control it. It is true. At the end of the lecture, I am going to tell you, after teaching some tricks and techniques, I am going to tell you, yes, be aware of this, and only when you are aware of it, you will be able to control it, especially your negative body language. The more you are aware of it, the more control you will have over those negative gestures. And the last one, it is difficult to fake body language for a long period of time. This is also true. You can fake it for a short period of time, but for a long period of time it is not possible. So, once we get into the lectures, I will tell you why it is not possible and why it is difficult when you use certain channels, why in certain situation like face to face it is much more difficult to fake your body language, and so on. So, now let us look at your rating very quickly, add it up, and to tell you the secret, in this one all the 10 questions are true. The 10 statements about body language, non-verbal communication are all true. So, if you have written T 10 out of 10, if it is F in between, reduce marks for F and then make a quick total and look at your rating. 9 to 10 is outstanding. You have already a kind of uncanny sense of non-verbal perception. Your behavior may be very highly sophisticated and matured in terms of expressing your body language. 8 to 9, very good. So, you still have good sense about body language, perceptionally you are good. 6 to 7 is just good, need to improve a lot. 5 to 6 is average. This means you can make lot of mistakes or you may misread a person, and 3 to 4 is below average. This again indicates that your non-verbal is so low compared to the majority of the people, and it is so low that you may often cause lot of miscommunication whenever you are transacting with human beings. Then 0 to 2 is poor. You absolutely need so many courses on non-verbal communication, and you need to change your perception completely in relation to this. Okay. But although I said 0 to 2 absolutely needs it, 9 to 10 does not mean that they do not need it. The point I am making is, just get ready for the lecture. This is a preview quiz. You will get more interesting things even if you are at the outstanding level, even if you are at the very high rating. You will check whether you are right or wrong. Okay. So, you will also know more about improving, enhancing your non-verbal skills, and then controlling those negative things which will eventually get you the success that you most desire. And success is something that is given to you if your communication is going to become very effective and meaningful. So, we will now meet in the next lecture. Till then, bye, and think about these questions and start making your perceptions non-verbal acute. Thank you and bye.